Welcome back again to Arinka's Kitchen. I have another family favorite recipe and it's called cabbage with smoked ham. SZÉKELYKÁPOszta FÜSTÖLT SONKÁVAL. So what you will need for this is 1.5 liters of wine sauerkraut, and then 2 medium onions, 6 to 7 cloves of garlic, 2 medium tomatoes, half a red bell pepper, and 1.5 kilograms ready cooked smoked ham. And today I'm going to be using the lean smoked ham. So I bought some at my local deli, and so I'm going to be using the lean smoked ham, but you can also use the smoked ham that's not lean. And then 3 tablespoons of ketchup, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of Vegeta or vegetable base. So if you can't get a hold of the spice called Vegeta, you can use vegetable base. 1 teaspoon of salt and 3 tablespoons of paprika and 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start by, in a large roasting pan, I'm going to be adding the onions and the red bell peppers and the tomatoes. Just adding it into a large roasting pan and then just starting this off with the vegetables. And then I'm going to add the diced garlic. So I've got about 7 cloves of garlic diced. I'm just going to mix that together. And then I'm going to add some of the spices and the ketchup. So I'm just going to put these over here on the tray. So I'm going to add some Vegeta, and you can actually use a vegetable base if you like. I'm just going to add all the spices here, and then I've got the salt. So 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of the Vegeta. And then I've got the black pepper, which is 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this up, mix all the spices together with the diced vegetables and the garlic. Make sure it's stirred around thoroughly. Okay, and then I'm going to add the ham. And I've got that over in the refrigerator, so I've just pre-diced it, and then I've added it to the vegetables. So I've got about 1 kilogram of ready cooked smoked ham, and this is a lean ham. So you don't have to use the lean ham. And you can put more ham in it if you choose to. 1.5 kilograms of it. So just continue to stir this around, and then I'm just going to add my ketchup to it. This is my mom's version of a little bit added, sort of a little bit of North American addition to it, sort of a ketchup. My grandmother would use probably a tomato paste, but my mom adds the ketchup to it, just to give it a little bit more flavor. There's about 3 tablespoons of ketchup in it. So I'm just going to mix this around. And then I'm going to add the sauerkraut. Now, the sauerkraut, what I did was I put it into a colander, and then I rinsed it out quickly, and then I squeezed it out in the colander. So that's just a little tip, that you can actually squeeze out the excess liquid out of it before you add it to these ingredients. So I'm just going to add this, and this is about 1 liter jar. and a half, 1.5 liter jar of wine sauerkraut. Now you can use just a sauerkraut, regular sauerkraut, if you can't find the wine sauerkraut, but my mom uses the wine sauerkraut. My grandmother would use just the regular sauerkraut. So I'm just going to mix this around, and then I'm going to add a quarter cup of vegetable oil. So I'm just going to drizzle this on the top of it, and then I'm going to mix the oil together. Now this was a family favorite recipe that my grandmother and my mother would make, and you can serve it with rice and rye bread or potatoes. So, and this will bake in the oven. So I'm just going to give you the instructions as soon as I'm finished stirring this around. And the last thing that what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle the paprika on the top of it. It just gives it a really nice color and flavor. It just brings out the flavor. So it's a Hungarian paprika that I've used. If you can get a hold of Hungarian paprika, that would be great. If you can't find Hungarian paprika, then you can just use other types of paprika too. I'm just going to make sure that the sauerkraut is mixed in there well, and all the ingredients are well. And this is, it just smells fantastic in the oven, and the color contrast, like with the red bell pepper. So now I'm just going to show you how this is done. So I'm just going to sprinkle evenly, and you can do this, I do it by hand, just to evenly kind of sprinkle it on top of your meat dish. And this gives it a fantastic, now I've got about 3 tablespoons of, my mom likes to use a lot of paprika for this recipe. I'm just going to really sprinkle it on there, like, this is fantastic. Just look at the color contrast, it just, and then it's going to actually go right into the actual recipe. It'll kind of bake inside of it, so lots of paprika. Just sprinkling that on there. Okay, so, and then what I've done is I've preheated the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and then when I make sure that the roasting pan is covered. There's a lid on top and it's covered tightly, and then I bake it for 30 minutes. During that time, about the first 10 minutes, what you would do is you would kind of take it out of the oven and then stir it a bit, like pull it out of the oven and then kind of stir it gently, and then put it back in the oven, and then continue to bake it for the 20 minutes, and then lower the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and then bake it for an additional hour. And then, of course, then it's ready to serve with rice, potatoes, or rice bread. So when this great dish will be ready to be served, I will show you what it looks like. So, and I mean, I can already smell the paprika and the onions and garlic and that. So it's actually, the aroma in the kitchen is just great right now. And so I'll be back to show you what this great recipe looks like. Welcome back again to Rinka's Kitchen. I just took out of the oven a recipe that I've been putting together for this cooking website, and it's called Cabbage with Smoked Ham, SZÉKELYKÁPOszta FÜSTÖLT SONKÁVAL. So what I did was I mixed all the ingredients together, and then I sprinkled some Hungarian paprika on top of the ingredients. and placed it into a preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And then what I did for the first 10 minutes, I took out the roasting pan and I kind of stirred around the ingredients gently, and then I put it back for another 20 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And then after 30 minutes, I lowered the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit for an additional hour. So I've just taken it out of the oven and I've placed it into a serving dish. And what I'd like to do is show you what this great recipe looks like. Now, as you can see that there's a lot of color contrast there. There's a red bell pepper and there's some tomatoes and sort of at the top of the recipe, and then of course then you've got the smoked ham, ready cooked smoked ham, and the onions and garlic and all the different spices that I mentioned as I was doing the recipe. So this dish can be served with rice, potatoes, or with rye bread. So today I'm going to be serving it with rice. So, and this recipe can actually be frozen in freezer containers for approximately about 3 to 4 weeks. So it's great to have it handy if you want to warm it up, and you're coming home from work and you just warm it up in the microwave and prepare some potatoes or rice, or just serve it with some rye bread. So I'd like to show you what it looks like on a plate. So what I've done is I have added some rice. I've cooked up some rice. I've added some of my favorite spices to the rice, and it can be served with rice. You can actually put the rice on just on the whole plate, and then you can put it on top of the rice too. So depending on how you like to eat it, but there's different variations. One of the tips that I'd like to mention is make sure that you don't over rinse your sauerkraut, because you don't want to take out the flavors of the sauerkraut. And also the other tip was just that you could freeze it in freezer containers for up to 3 to 4 weeks. So I hope that you enjoy preparing this for your family and friends. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me at irenkaskitchen.com or Irene at irenkaskitchen.com. Until next time, bon appetit, jó étvágyat!